Oh, what did you eat? Oh, I almost caught you live.
That's right. Yes, Jackie. You know the procedure. I pressed the button. So we have to be careful. Good morning. Good morning. How's
Good
everyone?
morning.
What's going on? Tell me, and you have 10 seconds to tell me everything that's going on and all about your weekend.
My weekend was great. Restful.
Good.
I enjoyed
Done.
it. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much. And honestly, it really was. It was simple, the way it should be. Every once in a while, a nice reset. It was great.
Good. Excellent. Well done. Very brief. So, welcome everyone else who's joining us today. We're talking about something really important today. We're talking about what is it? How to prevent the freshman
Yeah.
15?
Not freshman.
COVID
Wait,
19?
holiday 15. You
The
like my play?
holiday,
You like my play on that? Yeah.
holiday 15?
hmm
Okay, let me lead this up.
I'm being generous, by the way. Holiday 15.
Why are you being
Some some
generous?
people do worse.
Well, anything's possible. Yeah. Yeah. So let me tell you what happens around this time of year. This is my life. Let me complain a little bit. So around this time of year, most of the visits that I have with clients are the same. It's like, oh my God, Thanksgiving's coming up. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what it sounds like. So now I'm thinking of someone specific. Last week, she's like, oh, I want to continue. I'm doing great. I'm so happy, whatever. But what am I going to do around, for Thanksgiving? My first question to her is, well, how do you do Thanksgiving?
hmm
She's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, Thanksgiving is one day. So do you do it one day or are you just, eating the leftovers for the next week? Like,
hmm
how do you and your family do Thanksgiving? Now, for her, fortunately, like, she doesn't even get it because her kids are the ones that are eating the leftovers for the week.
Got it. Okay.
So it works out so that's very easy for her. So the first question to everyone is, how do you do it? How do you want to do it? What do you want to have happen? Like, people have choices. They make themselves nuts,
Oh yeah.
but it's not that difficult. Jackie, how do you do Thanksgiving in your house?
I mean, so typically we alternate hosting between me and my sister-in-laws, and this year it's at my sister-in-law's house, which is wonderful because I have the
Kelly?
option. Yep, my sister-in-law Kelly. Yep. So they're hosting, which is awesome. And again, we're always surrounded by good food. It's not just because it's at
Well,
my
why do
sister-in-law's.
you say it like that's unique to you?
Well, I'm not saying because I feel like
Who's
it's
not
with the
like that?
food.
Who have you ever said? Who have you ever heard say either?
Listen,
We never have good food, or we're always surrounded by crap.
well, I'm fortunate where listen. I've heard stories where people don't enjoy going to other sides or other family members. Oh, I don't like the way they cook. Oh, they did this. Oh, that no. We are surrounded by all people that cook really well. Bring great dishes. It's always good food. But it's not just for Thanksgiving. It's all the time. So it's really navigating that, and I feel like going there. Obviously, I'm going to bring something, and I'm going to kind of sort of plan ahead. I don't I'm not worried about overeating so much that day or going through. It's that one point in time and just making smarter choices.
What are you bringing?
Honestly, I have not decided. Most likely an appetizer and a dessert. But
Okay.
I make everything, so I'm not going to bring a store bought pie.
So
you know,
and is it the kind of thing where you generally leave with a care package?
it's funny. They always ask my in-laws, my mom, everybody's like, "Oh, take leftovers." But I have to tell you, they don't really go past a day in our house. We're not big on leftovers like that. If
Okay.
they're
I
there,
have
we'll
a
eat them.
question. I have a
They're
question
done.
about the whole leftover thing, right?
Yes.
Leftovers are a big deal, are they not?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a professional hostess. I'm a professional guest,
Yes.
basically. That's the difference between
It's
us,
a good
right?
team. Good team.
So yeah. So when I go places, I generally leave with a care package,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's fine. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. It's great. Here's my question. As the host, are you giving the care package because A, you care, or B, you want to get all the crap out of your house?
Well, the truth
It's
is,
probably
we
a
don't.
combination, but
It
tell me
is.
what's great. What's the bigger reason?
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously, yes, because I care. I look at it like I'm glad you enjoyed it with me today. Take it with you. Have a meal for tomorrow. You don't have to worry about it. You get to enjoy your day off if you're off. Take it with like I
Let's
want
see.
them to go
We
home
know
with
you're a good person. Why are you really doing it, Jackie? Come on, out
no,
with it.
really. I listen. We are grateful and beyond blessed that we always have too much food. So the truth is, yes, I don't need 47 stuffed mushrooms in my house. You can take 6 each.
You're forcing it on people because you don't need it there for the next month.
We're a family of 4. We do not need that many. And as much as we like
Right.
to host, my husband is not huge on
So
leftovers
you're
either. So,
insisting that people take things when they
yes,
leave.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. This is my point here.
I
So it's
guess I'm
not
a
all
pusher.
altruism, Jackie. I mean, although you're a good person, that's not what it's
I'm a
about. You have a
pusher.
selfish motive.
I'm a pusher. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it.
This has always been my sense also, even though, like I said, I'm grateful to get the package, but my sense has always been like it's also pushed to get it out. It's just too much. It's overwhelming.
There's always an overabundance of food. I mean, and the truth is, the types of foods that are, served at these holidays, they're not light and like you feel like, oh, in an hour I could have another helping. No, they're. I mean, it's loaded with stuff. It's heavy, no matter which way you look at it.
I want to get to the bottom of this. I don't understand it. Like, are there places that they don't do feasts like this? I mean, why does it have to be? If you invite 12 people, why do you have to have food for 50?
It's
What
funny. It's
sense does
not.
that make?
It's
Why is
not
it so
so
over?
much. Yeah, but it's not that. It's more the variety. I think that, like for us, when we like to host, I like to make everyone feel comfortable at home. I want to make sure that there's something there for everybody that they will enjoy. I'm very big. I love looking up. I've saved so many recipes for holidays and ideas that you kind of feel like, oh, well, you have to get it in that one day. So you want to make all these different options. I mean, we have charcuteries and antipasts and appetizers, enough like for 2, 3 per person, essentially.
All year, whenever you see something that you like, you're taking a picture and you're
Always,
thinking about your holiday
always.
taste.
If you see my Pinterest boards, I literally have Thanksgiving menus. I mean, I can't even count how many.
Yeah, but you're going to Kelly's house though, so you're not going to be able to do all that.
No, but I will bring, like, I'll ask her if she wants to bring something, whatever her plan is for her menu. And then if she doesn't, I'll try to like make it like this month if it's more, autumn harvest feeling.
You're going to bring something fun. So let's talk about us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we
Hands
are
up.
helping. We want to help people through their holiday season, right? We
Mhm.
don't want people to die. That sounds so dramatic. I've said it before. It's such a dangerous time of year. Like the
It
most
is.
most deaths by heart attack and
Yeah.
all of this crap, right?
In
And the
all seriousness, it is. It's a
gains
very.
over 8 pounds and whatever. And I don't want, I'm not into scare care. And my thing is, I don't like to for the most part, I don't like to tell adults what to do. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't like to tell other adults what to do. I like to educate. I like when people have good data so they can make choices from a very empowered place, right? From a
Mhm.
knowledgeable place. So this does happen.
Yeah,
People do gain weight. This is kind of a dangerous time of year.
it is.
And my thing is, if it's your conscious choice to gain 12, 15 pounds over the holidays and then take it all away, you can do that. I
Oh,
don't think it's the best strategy. I
no.
think it's a silly strategy. I think it's a way that people get themselves in a hole.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're doing it consciously, wonderful, fine. I mean, that's what you should do. But we're also speaking to the people who don't want to do that, right? They've done it before, they don't want to do it again. So
Mhm.
we are providing some resources. For example, a holiday menu.
Yep.
Tell everyone about the Thanksgiving holiday menu that you worked so hard to do.
So the Thanksgiving menu for me is I try to make it as simple as possible. They are guilt-free leftovers. It's food that you can have, you can share, you can make, you can bring without feeling the pressure. So what I always tell everybody to do is to, when we send out this menu, essentially is to read it over. If you're going somewhere, bring one of the items there that you more than likely would overindulge at if it was at someone else's house. So, for example, if it's your sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, and we're giving you a healthy swap or a cauliflower mash or an alternative, if that's your guilty pleasure, be the one that will provide that at that venue. Because then if you're bringing it with you, you're prepared. Now it's like, you know what? I won't feel so inclined to have 2, 3 helpings of this, whereas I can have my version or a healthier swap. And I think,
Got it. Now, I do have a question about
uh-huh,
that, right? What is your sense, and not that it should matter,
mhm.
but what is your sense if you show up somewhere and you say you're bringing the stuffing and you show up and it's the rice cauliflower stuffing,
Mhm.
is your host appreciative of that, or are they like, oh God, there's always one?
Listen, I think that there's always going to be that joke no matter where you go. Like I have, so in our family, like we're all different. Our health goals are different. Our visions are different, and sometimes it's easier to let loose for others than not. It's really how you take it. I don't live my life based upon other people's opinions, truthfully. So even if we're joking, I don't take offense to it. If it's making me feel good and in
Have you heard
control,
that?
oh yeah, absolutely.
You've brought healthy things and you've heard it.
Listen, my nephews come and they literally make a joke and they will record my pantry because they're like, Aunt Jackie, you have the worst snacks ever. So if I ever have like a Hershey bar, they totally blast me. Like, oh my God, you have like
How old are your nephews?
my 17 and
You
17
see,
and
that's
15.
right. That's what you're gonna get from punk kids.
Yeah, but you know what's
Give you
funny?
crap because it doesn't matter to them.
But I have to tell you, they will try what I make. They will, but
And do
like
they like it?
they appease me. They don't do it with any malintent whatsoever. But it's funny. So like I'm used to be. I don't mind I just laugh with it. I like roll with it, whatever. And I'm like, come on, you have to try my cottage cheese cookie dough. And they're like, Aunt Jackie, I am not touching it. I'm like, yes, you are, because I used to wipe your butt, and you have no choice. So you are.
Wait, how many years can you get away with that? That I used to wipe your butt thing. Never.
Forever.
So they're going to be
I
like,
grew up
middle
young.
aged with grandkids, and
Yes,
you're going to bring up the butt wiping.
exactly. Butt
Okay.
wiping. I've seen them naked. I've showered them. Yes.
I mean, the obvious response from them is, well, you haven't done it lately. So unless you're prepared to,
Thank God. But the
who
next stage of
cares?
their life, when they're away at college and I have to be semi-responsible, I will be that aunt.
All right. Let's get into the specifics about
Yes,
the holiday menu because I want to know I mean, do you have it's prepared already? It's ready to go?
I do. I can pull it up. Bear with me 1 minute. There were 2 things I would like to add to it. I actually just saw a recipe a week and a half ago that I typically like to put out recipes for things that I've tried myself. I don't necessarily like to just, oh yeah, this looks great, and then here you go, because we do alternative swaps
Who would
for
do that? That's like a sociopath would do that. Of course, you'd have
why?
to have had it. Who
Well,
would
no,
just
but listen, there are recipes out there that look so good, but we do have to alter them sometimes to be program approved.
it?
I don't want to put
Yeah,
stuff
but
out there.
I could theoretically do that. I could make something up, or I could just forward something that nobody would do that. No good, well-meaning person would do that. I couldn't even imagine doing that.
Listen,
Who would
some
do
people
that?
do.
Who makes coffee?
So I want to add this. There's this roasted butternut squash recipe that I made, a soup, which was amazing. Super
Mm.
simple. It's pretty much 3 ingredients. The
Well,
easiest.
let's. I don't want to. I just want the overview. Like, I don't want to get into. Sometimes
Okay.
we recipes. We tell people how to do it, but
Mhm.
I want to know what the overall holiday menu is.
So we have Cornish hen. There will be a butternut squash soup, roasted Brussels sprouts with craisins,
Nice.
cauliflower mash, and then I believe I did the mini the apple pies is what I put on there.
Okay,
Like,
I need to grill you. I need to grill you about this menu a little bit. Okay.
uh-oh,
So my
I'm
first
scared.
question to you is the what is it? It's not capon. It's what did you just say?
Cornish hen.
The Cornish hens. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I like Cornish hens. Okay.
Me too.
So the Cornish hens, how is that prepared? Like, what is it spiced with? What do you do?
So lemon, orange, lemon, orange, garlic, rosemary, a little bit of black pepper, a finishing pink salt for us, and I'm missing something. You could use coconut oil for
Nice. Okay.
crispness.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about Cornish hen. In my inexpert opinion, Cornish hens is a good way to go about the holidays. Instead of
Oh,
having a 39-pound turkey,
yep.
right? If
Hmm.
everyone gets a little Cornish hen, it's very civilized.
So it's funny. I actually have done it a couple of times hosting here for Easter, believe it or not.
Mm.
Just something a little alternate, different, but it's nice because one is the presentation of it. Two, I feel like for those of you feeling like, okay, well, here's this huge turkey. You have a smaller, it's the visual part of it, right? It's all about plating. It's all the way it looks is the way it makes you feel inside before you actually have it. So it gives you a feel like you're having that whole turkey, that whole meal. It's the whole ambiance, it's the experience of it. It's not just the food you're
Well,
having.
and flavor wise, I
It's
think
so
it's
good.
better. I think it tends to be moist,
They
not
are.
like turkey, which can often be dry. Okay,
It is.
so that's that's the bird.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's good.
now tell me this: the idea of the cauliflower, the
Mhm.
rice cauliflower, is that to replace potatoes or stuffing?
No, I actually make it mashed, so it will be replacing potatoes.
Okay, so what are we doing to replace stuffing?
So stuffing, it's funny. So I've seen a couple of recipes where it fluffs with like vegetables or a side. I would rather just choose one or the other. I don't have an alternative program approved for stuffing. I have a clean post program stuffing that's very good, which
Well,
I could do that.
listen. I'm a stuffing guy, though. I mean,
Are
I feel
you
like
more than potatoes?
yeah, I feel like you could
Mm,
always have potatoes, and and you have a type of potato. I mean, there's always some kind of a sweet potato thing or something. So
something.
yeah, so what would someone do if they want to have stuffing? How would you do that? You said you have a post program one. What does that consist of?
Post pro, it's actually using it's mixture. It's potato bread actually, potato bread, but it's a keto version, and I mixed it also with a grain bread an artisan grain bread that I found, which was really
Okay,
good.
got it. So it is a bread base, but it's a healthier
It
bread.
is.
Okay.
It's a clean. Yes, it's clean. There's no substitutes for that. It's just bread.
Couldn't something be done with rice? If you're, by the way, if you're watching right now and you have an idea or there's something you've done, please send it to us.
Share it.
So we'd be interested. But couldn't something be done to make a type of stuffing?
The only thing that I could think of that comes to mind now, I would have to try it just based upon what I've made in the kitchen because I've made cloud bread before, which I'm a huge fan of, especially on program because you feel like you're having. It's really
You have to tell everyone what cloud bread is.
cloud bread is. It's made from egg whites and it fluffs up. It's seasoned and visually and texture wise, it looks like bread. But you can season it, you can flavor it any which way you want. But the bait, it's made with egg whites. It's very light, it's very airy, it's not dense. It's actually a really, really good alternative for people who have a hard time breaking away from sandwiches and things like that because they need something to dip, they need something to hold. It's all mental if you really
See,
start to
I
look
would think rice cauliflower, if done correctly, could be made with stuffing. Like you could put, for example, mushrooms in that. You put your rosemary and things like that. And I
so you know what though, Dr. R? I think that we have to honestly, I'm going to look into it. I'm actually curious now to see how we could do it because there's a couple of different ways about it. Like our traditional, how we make stuffing in our house. Like I love I will not pass up on stuffing that my mother makes. I absolutely love my mother's stuffing. She uses like 6 different types of breads and it's soaked and it's like a 2-day process and it is unreal. It is so good. I absolutely love it. If I had somebody else's just standard stuffing or store bought, I would pass. Like I'd rather not. I'd rather just
fair
go for.
enough. And listen, and everyone has a choice to
But
make.
there's no vegetables in my mom's. That's the thing. So you were saying it with like for texture wise and to throw in some mushrooms. So we might have to like play around with that. Emily, what about keto bread by Hero and dry it out? It's processed but better than the real deal. It is. The problem is though, I would much rather, and Dr. R, tell me if you agree, I would much rather have the actual food than a processed version. I'd like to avoid any chemicals or alternative fake foods. I'd rather a fresh loaf of bread.
Well, okay, you mean as opposed to the bread made into stuffing?
No, like processed, anything like that, like any additives to it, anything that's not real food.
But she's suggesting a clean kind of bread, a relatively clean bread,
It's
right? It's a keto
processed,
bread.
but it's sometimes processed. They have a lot of fillers.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so listen, what we're discussing here,
Mhm.
bread is processed necessarily, right? Some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're discussing here for those people who want to do it is the possibility of, first of all, being able to do Thanksgiving on the program. Uh,
Yes.
but
I've done
if not, like I said, it's a day. If you keep it confined to a day, then you're
it.
fine. You load up on turkey, so it can be done. But here's the other thing, because Jackie, I have a sense of you. I know John, and what I think that I know about you guys
Uh-huh.
is that when you sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, you are unbuckling your pants.
No,
And I feel like a
actually.
lot of people are unbuckling their pants, right? So we're talking about the possibility of a non-bloat,
Yes.
non-unbuckling, kind of clean way to do a Thanksgiving where you could breathe afterwards.
Yeah.
Now,
And
not
not
everybody
feel
likes to
guilty.
breathe. Yes, a guiltless Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. I like to always tell a story. 6 years ago, the first time I signed up, I did the program. I started 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and results just happened instantly. And I felt so good. And here I am, here, me and my husband showing up with two like prepared bags of food to his sister's house, my other sister-in-law. And they're like, "You're really not going to eat anything today. You're only 2 weeks in. What's the big deal? It's only 2 weeks. You just start again tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving. Go for it." And I'm like,
Yeah, that's the
in
devil
my
on your
mind,
shoulder. Do people realize when they're being the devil on your shoulder?
I know. But you know what's funny? For a split second, I said, like, normally I would have been like, you know what? You're right. I just started. What's the big deal? It's
Sure.
1 week, 1 day. I'm only in it 2 weeks. I haven't been doing it for 3 months. It's not going to hurt me. And that did not happen for us. Like, we were like,
Mhm.
no, our results, we felt it immediately. And we felt so good already at that point. We were closer to the 3 week mark. I literally we actually overate in calories, and we went down a tremendous amount the next day. It happened to be. But just so that we felt the idea that if we wanted an appetizer, we had our own version of an appetizer.
Mhm.
If people were now sitting down having their main course, we had similar foods. So we felt like we were completely covered on all levels, including dessert. So I didn't feel like I was missing something because I had something to go to.
Do we have an appetizer? Are we going to be sending people?
I can absolutely send an appetizer. Absolutely. I
And what
focus on the main meal and dessert.
Jack? How many things are you sending out? Because obviously there are some people who are on phase 2, which is the detox
Hmm.
portion,
Hmm.
super clean, and then there are some people who are on, phase 4 or phase 5, which obviously there's more leeway.
Yes. So with the phase 4 itself, you can have the side dishes regardless on program or post program. So you can alternate either or. I can send out another alternative if you just don't like those particular vegetables, which
Mhm.
is fine. Or a lot of the recipes that I put out there, you can omit certain things, and I will put it in the notes there. Where like omit raisins, omit whatever that sweetness
Mhm.
is, if you
Right.
can't have it at that portion. And I make it very clear. Those are simple swaps where you don't have to, or sorry, things that you can remove, and you don't necessarily have to swap. So
Got
if
it.
you make a really good like roasted Brussels sprouts and butternut squash, you don't have to swap.
So
And
you're
this,
sending out one menu, but then you're going to inform people on how they would alter things depending on
correct,
what they are. Okay.
correct.
Now, so what we're looking at right now is we're starting out with a roasted butternut squash soup,
Hmm.
which is, by the way, amazing when it's done right.
It
I've
is
had
so good.
squash soups that, yeah, you can go weak knees from them.
Let me tell you, this soup I actually made extra. This is the second one that I've made, a different one that I've made. The first one was about 3 weeks ago. Delicious, did not last in my house. The second one, my mother-in-law brought over this squash. I was like, I don't even know how to cook. Like, what am I doing with this thing? It's huge. And she was like, I'll show you how to clean it. So her and my father-in-law chops it up for me. I had so much. I said, you know what? I'll make another version of the soup that I saw a recipe I was dying to try. I froze it. I already took out 2 containers. I'm like, it's just so good.
Well, is it a savory soup or is
It's
it a
definitely
sweet?
savory.
It's
It's
savory. So
savory.
do you have garlic? You must have garlic in there.
There's garlic in there. There's shallots in there. I browned my onions first. I cooked them separately twice. So I actually roasted my butternut squash first, seasoned. Then I put it in there. I let it simmer on low. So it really just took on all the flavors.
Mm.
perfectly creamy. It had no cream in it, no dairy. Delicious. It was so
Yes,
good.
and you can get that with butternut.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're starting out with a butternut squash soup.
Yep.
Then we're going into the Cornish game hen,
Yep.
and then we're gonna have the rice cauliflower mashed.
Yes, which I make all year. It's like it's honestly,
Yeah, it's so good.
sometimes I even prefer this, and I love mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I sometimes like this better than mashed potatoes. It has so much flavor.
What's special about this? How is it done?
I'll tell you what I do. I actually, so once a week, and I think I've said this even sometimes every couple of weeks because it lasts a while, I will take peeled garlic and marinate it in coconut aminos, rosemary, a little bit of salt, even additional garlic, like granulated garlic, black pepper, and slow roast them till it's almost like mush. If you were to put a fork on it, it would smear.
Mm-hmm.
I then leave them in a jar and I load up my food. So what I'll do is I will buy the rice cauliflower already done because you can get the organic bags from Costco. They've actually been out of it, so I've been having to make it from scratch. It's a little bit of a pain. I got.
And by the way, you can get that frozen these days.
Yeah,
which is so easy and convenient. Yep.
No additives, no nothing. I just throw that in the microwave, let that steam up, take that out. I throw it in a blender. I'll add 1 to 2 tablespoons, depending on how large of a bag you're using. You have to go by consistency of cottage cheese. Throw that in there because that gives it its creamy consistency. And as it's blending, I'll splash it with a little bit of the no salt, no sugar added vegetable or chicken stock. You can even use bone broth. And now you're adding the flavor. I then throw in my garlic and blend it together. So it's roasted. I top it.
That sounds terrific. Yeah, the more garlic, the better as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah. I can eat that just right out of the jar.
Now, Emily's having a nice Thanksgiving meal too. So do you see can you read it?
Yeah.
Turkey, homemade fresh cranberry sauce, sweetened with Truvia. Why would you need to sweeten? Is cranberry sauce that's unsweetened not sweet at all? What's unsweetened cranberry sauce like?
I made a cranberry sauce one year in my slow cooker. Oh my gosh. And I don't like cranberry sauce normally. It was so good.
Did you make it from scratch?
Yeah.
Okay. So isn't it sweet?
I think it's very sweet. And so I wonder if that's just a recipe she follows.
Yeah. So I wouldn't do Truvia. I would do stevia.
Stevia, absolutely over Truvia.
Yeah. Roasted garlic rice cauliflower, which sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How could you go wrong if you have roasted garlic in anything?
Yeah.
I want to hear about this string bean casserole, Emily.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that?
I'm curious because string bean casserole, I automatically think of how my grandmother used to do it old school. Bread crumbs and butter and the cream.
The mushroom, the creamy mushroom soup. That's how you do it. And not only that, but the like the fried onions.
Yes.
Right? You throw that in, you get a nice crust going.
So the cranberries
are tart. So okay, I guess you have to kind of mitigate the tartness.
Emily, I'm going to look for the recipe. I feel like I shared it one year, but I have one that I made in my slow cooker. Fresh cranberries, simplest thing. It was lemon zest, orange zest. No sugar was added to it. Coconut oil, and cooked it low on simmer. It came out. It was like a syrup. It was delicious.
Okay, but I want to point something out right now because you and Emily are kind of advanced cooks here. These are advanced moves that you're suggesting.
True.
So what if you had somebody that? What if you had a challenge? I'd like to give you this challenge. I think we should record it.
Oh God.
You have to make a good holiday meal in 45 minutes. All right.
Okay.
With 3 or 4 different things. What would you do? What would you do? How would you do that? I'm putting you on the spot right now. This is like one of those cooking shows.
45 minutes start to finish?
Yes.
Okay, so I would definitely do the roasted Cornish hen. I would do the cauliflower mash. I would do sauteed mushrooms. And I would do the the crustless pumpkin pie.
Crustless pumpkin pie. What is that?
That's amazing. I've made that probably since the first time I started a program. I take a ramekin, which is like those glass canisters.
I know what a ramekin is. Believe it or not, I know what a ramekin is. By the way, something about me. I can have these conversations. I can't make any of this stuff, right? But I'm a very good eater, so I know how to. Like if you would say, what do you think of this? I could say, well, it needs some cumin or something. Like I prove things.
Well, the ramekin. So I literally take pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix, pumpkin puree, already done. It's super simple.
Right.
Take it. You're gonna toss up all your pumpkin pie spices. I preferably prefer them not mixed, so I would do it separate. So it'll be nutmeg and cinnamon, and add everything together. A little bit of pink salt. Mix it together with 1 egg to your serving. So it'll be 1 whole egg whipped. I want to say about 1 cup of pumpkin. Mix them, blend together, bake on 350. I want to say it's about 25 minutes in my oven.
You're baking it in the ramekin.
Yes, it's easy. And then you top it with some more cinnamon on the way out. Caramelized is really good.
The ramekin, you can do it no matter if it's glass or if it's ceramic.
I would think so. Most of them, they should be suitable up to like 425, 450.
Okay.
Mine are. So I think mine are ceramic.
Okay, so what we're doing, so the first step is this is a 45-minute healthy holiday meal. Listen to this, people. You're never going to hear this again. It's impossible. It's an impossible task.
Prep your roasted Cornish hen first.
Prep it. So what does that mean?
Easiest prep ever. So you just take it off. You're going to rub it down a little bit with your pink salt just to keep it fresh. In a bowl, you're going to mix oranges, lemon, garlic, coconut oil melted down if you have to. Give it a good stir.
This sounds like too many steps. What's stopping you putting a bunch of spices on top of it?
You want to rub it all the way through. You want to make sure
Fine, you rub it, but you do a dry rub. You just put the spices on, the salt, the pepper, the what have you.
Yep, and in a separate bowl, take 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, squeeze that lemon and the orange. Squeeze that all in there. You're going to put your roasted garlic, some rosemary, black pepper, mix it all together, pour it all over your Cornish hen. Close it up in your tin foil, put that in the oven.
Put that, or better yet, in the air fryer.
You can put it in the air fryer. You just got to make sure that it cooks all the way through. You might have to do it in steps.
Interesting. You're going to have to cut it at some point, probably.
You're going to want to check that out, yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's step number 1. So you prep and you throw your Cornish game hen in the oven.
Then I suggest you do your pumpkin pie.
Okay, so that's easy. You just set it. Right. You put it in the ramekin and you throw the other stuff in there. You blend it a little bit. By the way, I'm a big fan of the stick blender. Right. The other thing you have to clean up. If you put it in a regular blender, you have to clean it. It's stupid.
So I hate cleaning. Yeah. No, but if you just whip that 1 egg with that pumpkin pie and all of your seasoning, pour it right into your ramekin. Just make sure you grease if you're going to use like depending if it's ceramic or glass.
So
make sure you grease it. It can get a little stuck.
Fine. Okay, and
then I would do the cauliflower mash. It's about 5 minutes in the microwave, and then you just start blending all of your ingredients.
Okay.
Blend it together. Then you can transfer it to like a low baking pan just to warm it up, or another ramekin if you're doing an individual.
All right, enough with the ramekins. Yeah. And then what's the last thing?
And then sauteed mushrooms are my absolute favorite. You wipe them off. So I personally like to keep a little of the dirt on them. My husband hates that, but it just gives it the best flavor. So I dust them and keep them get them as clean as possible. Slice them up. I throw them into a pan. If you're allowed olive oil, just drizzle a little bit of olive oil. If you're not, you can do the same thing with your coconut oil. Or if you're not doing a coconut oil day, splash it with a little bit of your chicken stock. Okay,
got it. Let me just make a quick comment. Then we're going to get to what Emily's saying, because Emily, has some really nice ideas here.
Like this one?
Emily's trying to match me up. Like, you're not the first one, Emily. Like, welcome to my family. Okay, so because I wouldn't even ask these questions. I'd be like, okay, honey, what time?
Yeah, exactly. What time do I have to be dressed?
Yeah, I mean, as it is, I don't need to ask these questions. Like I said, I'm a professional guest. But all right, so now I lost my train of thought. Well, yes, this is what I was going to say.
What?
This is what I was going to say regarding sautéed mushrooms. I was a vegan, right? When I was a vegan, I would go on occasion to places like Morton's. Morton's obviously is known for its steak. They had the sautéed mushrooms that they provided. I would get that. That was my meal. And it might have been the best thing I've ever eaten. They did it with butter and wine, right? And like that. But it's so good. When sautéed mushrooms are done right, it is so incredibly delicious.
In our household, I mean, we all love mushrooms in general, but I keep them just sautéed and made in my fridge all the time because I can.
That's an advanced move also. I got to tell you something. So we have someone on the program now, Debbie. Last
Hmm.
name begins with M, right?
Hmm.
She's going to send me pictures. We were talking. This woman has systems on top of systems. You guys would get along really well. I told her I want pictures so I could send it.
Send them, share.
It's. I mean, you guys are like so efficient.
You know what it is? I think it's maximizing on your time. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't prepare to plan or vice versa, you're going to set yourself up for failure, right?
Yeah, but it takes a certain something. Like you paid attention in home ec class. I waited for everything to be cooked and then I ate it.
You
It's
know,
just a different mindset.
I think you just have to be positive about it. Like I am making things that I like to eat. We like to eat food. You know, there's just if you put that even yesterday, like we were cooking things that just because we were in the house, like let's just cook. And now I literally have more than enough food till the end of the week. Just all I have to do is pretty much prepare the main dish, you know, and it's pretty simple. But like sauteed mushrooms, for example, or something that's a core, you could end up
And then
throwing
you,
them on
you
the top.
freeze it. So you make sauteed mushrooms and then you keep it in the freezer.
No, fridge.
In the fridge. Oh,
No,
okay. I
not
thought
by
you were
Wednesday,
saying
but
freeze.
even
Could you
before.
freeze it?
I'm sure you could. Sure you
And it
could.
would be good for like 6 months later?
Probably.
Why
I
aren't
mean, if
we
you're
doing that?
tempting, because I feel like I'll just make them fresh. We go through them so quickly. Those are the types of things that aren't worth freezing to me. A soup is worth freezing to me. Meatballs would be if I had extra or sauce, things like that that take more time.
Well, the sauce
Mushrooms,
that you make once a year and you
we do every August.
Yeah.
The same thing. We made meatballs and sauce yesterday, and if my kids are not going to eat meatballs all week, but if they don't have any more by tomorrow, let's say for lunch, I'll freeze what's left over.
Right. But I could just see the possibility of if you're sauteing mushrooms, then you just saute 3 times more, and then you take it and you put it in a what do they call those
Tupperware,
aluminum, huh?
Tupperware.
No, an aluminum tray
Oh
or
yeah,
a Tupperware. Yeah, Tupperware would be better.
Tupperware. Yeah,
Either one. So, and then you just put it in there,
yeah,
and you just like slice it,
yeah.
into like squares, and then like you could just every once in a while you could take a couple of
Well,
squares out.
they do make, and I honestly I have considered ordering. It's just that my kids eat the same thing that my husband and I do, so we're not cooking that many different meals from each other at all. Maybe a couple of different sides, like my son won't eat, but my daughter eats everything we do. My son, I'd say 85% of everything we do. So for me to make them in smaller versions may not really benefit us in my household, but they do. They make a silicone square, they call them a soup mold, where you can make your soup and pour them into these square molds, and all you do is pop it out like an ice cube, and you have now your
You see, this is
individual.
what I'm saying. I mean, if you put enough time and attention into this, you can come up with such genius things to
And
where
this is that season to do it.
everything could be like the sauce.
Yeah,
Why don't you do that at the beginning of the year? You not only do you make sauce for the year, you just make everything you're going to eat for the whole year.
it's true. It's true. You can.
What is Emily saying now? Okay, first of all, let's go back. So cranberries are tart. She said that cream cheese, heavy cream, and mushrooms blend, then add string bean. Right, and that's okay if you're on phase 4. Maybe if all that dairy is not a trigger for you. People,
Yeah.
dairy is a common trigger for weight gain for people. Why? Well, it tends to be very inflammatory. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is not true for everyone, but for a lot of people. Most people can't even break down dairy, right? So most
Mm-hmm.
people are lactose intolerant. And so, there are issues with dairy. There are some other issues I won't get into. It's kind of gross,
Mm-hmm.
but let's be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
If
Uh,
anything on pro, you could always alternate that just for the creaminess of it. Cottage cheese does cook well. It takes on every flavor. So if you season it accordingly, you could do with cottage cheese and omit the cream cheese. Heavy cream, you could make work to a certain extent. You know, some people might be better off with heavy cream than a half and half.
right. Right. Yeah. It's an individual thing, and you have
Yeah.
to. And this is why we test out certain foods
Yeah.
to discover which are triggers for us. Some people do okay with dairy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Emily's also saying, what makes this weight loss plan? What did she say? We're going to ignore that other comment she made about me personally. What makes this weight loss plan so doable is the fact that we can eat like kings and queens. It is so flexible. Well, it's pretty unforgiving at times, right?
I
During the
think
detox, but even within that, if you're smart enough and savvy enough and creative enough, then yes, you could absolutely eat very
that's
well.
probably what she means. Not so much in terms of flexibility for forgiveness. I think it's a matter of the fact that you're not as restricted as you think you are.
Right,
You have to realize that unless you're one that prefers just fast food meals.
right.
If you like to eat food, then this program is appropriate for you.
If you like to eat actual food,
Real
and then
food.
and if you want to get your taste back for food, right? Because after a while, a lot of people forget what food
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But yes, for actual food, absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay. So wait, I feel like she said something else. That's what makes this wait. We like kings and queens. Wait, did she say that twice? She said it twice.
Oh
Okay.
no. Yeah, in two different ways. Yeah.
All right. So
You're choking.
I say listen, and I mute myself. Yeah, I wanted to mute myself because it wouldn't be nice otherwise. All right. So listen, we should end off. I mean, pretty much we were talking about food. We didn't talk that much about how to prevent the 15.
Well, I
Uh,
can give a couple of pointers though for. I mean, overall, if you really think about it, take into consideration where your weaknesses are. If you could prepare for those ahead of time, you're already ahead of the game. So if you know that you indulge in sweets and dessert, bring or provide a dessert that you know that you would have full control and I'm going to eat what I brought and that's okay. Or as a host,
right.
make you can make those alternatives for people. And it's one thing if you go off the wagon a little bit, if you get right back on the next day, you have the tools to get back on.
Well,
Don't wait for Monday.
and that's where the deciding comes in. Like,
Mhm.
what is it that you want? Like, I'll
Yes.
tell some people. People say, "Hey, I'm going to Europe
Yeah.
for 2 weeks. What do I do?" And I'll say, "Well, what do you want to do? What are you comfortable with as a threshold?" So
Correct.
you decide on your threshold. If that's 4 pounds, okay, fine. And then if you hit that, you prepare to do something. For example, a steak day.
Hmm.
But that's what people need to do. In other words, it's about being conscious. It's about
Hmm.
deciding what you want to be conscious. Thanksgiving again is one day.
Yes.
The problem is that we think in terms of the holiday season,
Yes.
and we think in terms of okay, I'm going to start. We've had this conversation, right? This idea of okay, I'm going to go crazy. I don't care what happens, and then I'm going to pull it all together on January 2nd.
You're already 15 pounds heavier.
15 pounds heavier, right? But most people can't do it. I mean, with this program, you can, which is nice. I did that myself years ago. I was doing the program, or I was planning on doing the program. And it was funny because I was in the office. This is when I was working as a chiropractor. And I was just eating, people were bringing in cookies and cakes, and I was eating it. And like my staff was like, they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. By February 15th, I'm going to be down 35 pounds." And
Exactly.
exactly what happened.
Yes.
Uh, but for most people, it's not the best idea. Whether you decide to do it or whether you don't decide to do it, obviously give us a call. We are doing our Black Friday promotion, and we are offering the best prices of the season. So it's pretty much a no-brainer. The other thing is we want to encourage people to bring their families or friends, right? If you have a family or friend, we have an intro program that you can purchase for people as a present. It can be a hard thing to navigate because it can be a sensitive thing. But I think if you say, "I got you this great detox as a present," whatever, I think people would really appreciate it. And it's a really considerate thing to do, right? Because
Hmm.
anyone could give an Xbox or I don't know. What do people give people, Jackie?
At this point, I mean, everything you can buy yourself. So if you really care about someone's
Right.
health, it's the only thing that nobody wants to buy.
There you go. Okay, good. We should end off. This was,
Okay.
and then we're going to be back next week on Monday. Do we have a topic yet?
I don't have one for next week yet.
Okay, so it's a surprise topic. Emily, if you have something you want us to talk about, just let me know.
Bye.
Okay, take care.
Have a good one, everyone.